Welcome to the Fitness and Football podcast by Joe McLean and
Jordan Maguire.
So today we're just going to talk a little bit about mistakes in fitness and football training in youth team age, so 16 to 21, from an ex-academy scout, Jordan, and myself, the gym owner.
Yep.
So would you like to just give a brief description of what you do and what sort of stuff you've done in the past?
Yep. So my name's Jordan Maguire. Previously, I've scouted for Michael Management, which is basically a scouting agency, working with many academies in the Northwest area, such as Man United, Man City, Liverpool, Everton, and some championship sides as well. At the minute, I'm coaching for Manchester United Foundation, working for the under-16s. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. But obviously, today's I'm about a scouting perspective. So I did that for 2 years. Really good experience. Like I say, I'm going to go into that today, and vice versa with fitness.
How did you get into scouting?
At the time, I was working with Manchester University first team as a manager there. So obviously that was a great experience as well. So got offered to do it through a mutual manager there as well. Applied for it, and then luckily got it in the end. Obviously traveling around in Man United, Man City's pitch,
like all the surrounding areas,
all the areas, all the county pitches around there. So that was great.
So did you say Michael Owen there?
Michael Owen, obviously Newcastle player.
Was it his company you were working for? Like, was it?
Pretty much. He had a scouting agency, so he had a lot of scout agents working for him. So, but we were basically in contract with different academies, obviously, like I said, in the Northwest. So I'd be assigned to look at these players in all over the place and just go to their pictures, making sure they're doing well, checking up on them, and obviously so just doing that as a job. I loved it. It was good.
It's quite interesting how it works, because obviously I spent so long trying to get scouted as a kid. Obviously, it never panned out that way. Like, but
it's tough. It's tough, though, isn't it? It's tough, man. It's tough. It's hard to get scouted initially, but
cruel world.
It is. But I also did some of the league games as well as.
So did you go around those? Like, did you get told who to go and watch, or were you the one just going to watch games and then you seen this player and so I asked who it was and then followed him after that, or what?
Well, that's it. Sometimes I would get names given, but if I seen someone who caught my eye or I thought, was even better than what I was
person
looking
you
for,
were looking at,
then obviously I'm doing reports on them. I'm literally putting their name forward and obviously bringing their name up to obviously the Michael Owen management or something like that. But I also did games besides that, like obviously watching the local top teams in the Northwest area. So I get assigned to go and watch these players, and if they are better players in the playing position for the certain academies, then I'm doing reporting and following through. So it gets unnoticed almost. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
So
it's interesting how it works. It
is, mate. It is. But for me, what's your journey been? So what did you start fitness then, Joe?
Well, obviously, I know you know, but just for the general public, I had a bit of a different sort of fitness background than what most personal trainers have. In that I was a really big kid. When I was 10, I was 13.5 stone, which is actually heavier than the weight I'm at now.
Mad.
Bear in mind I'm 26 now. So I was heavier when I was 10 than what I am now. And then when I actually first decided to get into fitness and actually lose the weight, I was 13 and I was 16.5 stone, but I hadn't grew to the height I am now yet either. So I was a short 16.5 stone, which is obviously
stocky lad, a little short stocky lad.
I was a big kid. But the reason I actually started to lose weight is because I was a really good, obviously being the big lad, I got stuck in goal at an early age.
Interesting.
And I became a good goalkeeper. So I was obviously then trying to play at a better level and whatever else. So I originally lost the weight because of football. So yeah, I wanted to, sort of progress my game. So it started off as just actually doing like sport specific stuff, and then obviously once I started losing a bit of weight. I started to look a bit better, and it then became about.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Was it through obviously being a goalkeeper? You don't really move much, do you? Do you know what I mean? It's not really a moving position, but still, was it the goalkeeper training, or was it other sports?
Well, I would say, right. Okay, so I lost 7 stone when I was 13, and I lost it in quick fashion. I think it took us about 6 months, and what actually sparked it was a coach I had. I went to Ashington Football Club, and a coach there, Nick. He was very encouraging about like how good I was as a goalkeeper. But then, obviously, being the size I was, you know, you're a bit reluctant to take on a keeper that's as big as what I was, you know. So he said, like, look, because he was the county coach at the time as well, and he said,
yeah,
look, if you want to, like, I want to take you on, but you're going to have to work hard this summer to then get your place in the county and in the Ashington side, which were a good side in that age group. So obviously then that sparked me to then get into doing it. You know, well, I started going running because I didn't really have much knowledge at the time, so I just started running. But it was actually his coaching. So we used to do a big warm up, which I used to dread at first, like when I started like playing for them and whatever. And it was like a 10-minute run where you just I remember I just hated it every time. But it was the same for the county training as it was for the Ashington training. Every time we would do this warm up, because obviously it was the same coaches.
Right.
So I would just dread going to football and stuff like that. So I just thought, you know what, I'm gonna have to put the graft in here. And then as that summer went on, that warm up became a warm up and not, you know, as hard as what I'd found it at the start of the summer. And then that just furthers on. And then
it's repetition, isn't it? The more you do it, it's going to get easier. Isn't it? So that's one thing. We'll come on to that, and obviously in the podcast.
Yeah, and obviously it was the stuff I was doing myself as well. Like I started running, and then I was increasing my runs a lot, and to actually lose 7 stone in 6 months at that early age.
That's insane. It's insane.
Is probably it actually probably came down to more exercise addiction than what it did, like having that goal. I never knew I needed to lose 7 stone. I just kept losing and losing. I was running at one point. I was, you know, and this is probably the bad side of it. I was running like 8 mile a day by the end of my weight loss, and by this point I didn't need to lose any more weight. It then became ingrained into what I was doing. Right?
It's a exactly. That's why.
Yeah, for me, like obviously it started off in football, then I started to look a bit better, and you know, all the social things that comes with, you know, having this massive change was probably a little bit more detrimental to me sport, which is probably why I never then went any further with it.
Yeah. So when you say training early helped you, it's helping your later life now. Would you say, because you got stuck in early?
Yeah, I think definitely, like on the attitude perspective, it's helped us. So having that achievement at such an early age, where you know you see it all the time, it's like, oh, you know, the attitude is I'll never change, or I'll never look like that person, you know, that's on the magazines or whatever, you know, and to then go from being that guy, but then proving so many people wrong about like everyone thought I'd grow up to just be the obese funny kid, you know. now it turns out I'm lean, but I'm not that funny.
Well, I remember one day, it was when I think I saw you years ago. One day I seen you, and I didn't think I seen you for a while, for a couple of years, and I remember when you came back and looked a complete different person. Like transformation was insane, but that's down to you, innit? That's down to you working hard, lad. And
yeah, that's what I mean.
Putting the graft in, so you know, it just shows, innit? Like, it's hard work, dedication, mate.
Yeah, and it definitely puts that attitude in your head for the rest of your life. Like,
100%.
Although I'm a different, obviously, it's not part of us now. Like, it was a big part of us back then when I was massive. But then once I lost 7 stone and then started bulking up and, you know, found weight training and everything else, it then, you know, I'm 26 now, so half of my life was that person. And then after I lost my weight, the other half's been this person. And I would, like, I still commend, I treat it in, you know, probably not healthy, but I treat it as 2 different people in my head. And I still commend that person back then because it sticks with us to this day.
Also,
you know, I can look at a challenge now and think, well, you know, if I've done such a big achievement at a young age, then I can tackle anything, you know.
Of course.
So it sort of gives you that like never say die attitude, which, you know, it's helped us with my business. It helped us set up my gym, and it's helped us with, you know, with my clients and stuff as well. Is that like I've got that to say that I've done, you know, like I can say to my clients, look, if I've done this, you can do that.
Of course. Well, to take evidence, isn't it? Almost like it's
proven, exactly. Plus, because I'd went severely underweight, so I was severely overweight, and then once my exercise addiction and whatever it sort of like took its toll, I then started to not be able to actually see the shape I was in. It's more of a body image thing, so I then went really underweight. So I've been both ends of the scale. You know, when I grew to the height I am now, I also lost 7 stone. So obviously, as you grow taller, there's more obvious, so you weigh more. So if I had stayed the same height, it would have been about 9 stone that I'd lost. You know, exactly. So I went severely underweight. So I can sort of say to my clients, well, look, I've done this. I was at that end of the scale. I then went to the total other end of the scale, and now I'm in a good place.
So you've almost found two solutions, haven't you? Exactly. So you exactly. Two solutions from either scale. So it's interesting, man. It's interesting to hear that.
Yeah, definitely.
Aye.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's sort of my story. Is that like I'd lost 7 stone, and at an early age, originally for sport, and then and then got to about 16 and I started hitting the weights, which came with its challenges, because from 16 onwards, you know, I mean, we're from Newcastle, mate. Like we start getting out at the age of 15. Then I had to battle the alcohol.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Well, this is it. I mean, obviously at the time, we weren't academy players at the time, but I know lads obviously linking it to fitness in football as well. Obviously, when you get 16, 17, you know, everyone starts to go out and, you know, you're hanging your mates. But this is it. This is where dedication comes in. Like for us, it was fine. Like we weren't, you know, we went on the route of being pro players. Obviously, the percentage of making it is insane. But once you're in the academy, this is it. This is what we're trying to talk about on this podcast. Like, the dedication is when it comes in. You've obviously gone through the dedication and the sacrifice you've got to make to pursue, especially in a scouting game, in a pro game to get picked up. You've got to sacrifice all these small things.
Yeah, exactly.
To reach your goal. Otherwise, you're not going to potentially make it. I think personally.
Yeah, exactly. And it you know, even with that, you then have sacrifice, you know, like even though it wasn't necessarily from a professional sort of sporting background, is when you hit 16 and, you know, all your goals go out the window and you start, you know, going out and whatever. But in terms of a training background, I definitely know how that feels, because there was still, you know, even when, you know, you sort of like in that young wild phase, like there was still sacrifice in my life. There was still it was trial and error completely, because, you know, by the time I was, you know, 18, I was in the sort of bro science philosophies and like just training the car window muscles and stuff like that. And to be honest, I went a little bit podgy at that age as well, because I just didn't understand the balance.
I remember. But that's, to
be honest, like from the age of 18 to 21, you know, you're at uni and whatever. You don't prioritize your training. Like that's not what happens. But what I found is I never wanted to lose that sort of like desire that I had from an early age. So I never went sort of too far with it. There was always sacrifice, and that's the key for young athletes is that I mean, to be fair, that they have to be a lot stricter than someone that's just trying to maintain or get into a little bit of shape. But for young athletes, that sacrifice is what's going to set them apart from the rest.
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to. Especially elite performance. So, you know, when I was younger, I would see lads in town who play for the academy but doing all the things that they shouldn't be doing. And in the end, it turned out they didn't make it. And this is, I get lads who are coach at Man United all the time, just asking like, obviously, what is the principles of making it, and like they just think it's all technical and physical and that's it, but they miss the key ingredients, that is the sacrifice. And the lads I know who could be great footballers at the minute as well are going out. They're going out all the time, but they want to be pro footballers. No, for one, you've got to realise the sacrifice you want to make, and it starts from the ground up. Starts from the ground up. You know what I mean? So
yeah, which obviously then it sort of just brings that, like, you need to choose where your priorities are for these sort of athletes. They need to, if they're at that level already, they've already sacrificed so much.
Well, that's it. Mm-hmm.
It's them 16 to 21. It's them years that's going to make the difference. Which I think from a fitness coach perspective is probably the perfect time to be getting involved into some sort of strength and conditioning, for not only the physical aspects, but as we're talking about, for the mental aspects, and applying yourself and giving more than than your opposite number, and that's what it's about at that level, is not only being the best in like in that position or whatever, it's being the best in that position for that region, and
well, of course,
and then above.
Yeah, of course. Well, if you're not working, you've got to must have that attitude where someone else is working harder than you. That's what the best think. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Look at, I know it's a bit, it's a bit obvious, but look, Ronaldo, like he's the best player, but he's also the best trainer. It's for a reason. Do you know what I mean? He puts all the graft in that some players don't even think about doing. Some players are resting after the game. He's training the next day. So I mean, it's a different.
I seen a thing the other day.
Yeah.
And he turns up to the training ground, obviously with social distancing or whatever. He turns up 4 hours early.
Exactly.
4 hours.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But
that is the difference, and I think from a physical perspective, your game will change as soon as you start. Going from that, like, under 16s, under 18s, whatever. But as soon as you get into an adult game, you need these physical aspects of your game.
100%.
In order to even get 5 minutes on the pitch.
Well, this is it. I've seen, like, from my experience when I was a kid. I think I'll mention his name, but some lad came to our trials that he didn't get in. It was a grassroots team, didn't get in because he wasn't good enough fitness wise. He did boxing for a year and came back the year after, and then literally one of the best players in our team, scored 60 goals that season, the best player. I think in the end, ended up going to Division 1 team, Wallsend. Right. And from then on, he literally, like, he did good. He did good at that only because he worked his arse off and did. But for one, boxing, how hard is boxing for fitness? Like, it's so hard. The cardio is insane. So, doing that in football, also, it's like, yeah,
it link up. So that's where you get that sort of cross sport physicality. You get that, like, the areas of fitness that you're using for boxing will transfer over to football.
Yeah.
Same with vice versa. And there's so many sports that link up because the areas of fitness that are required or to make it at a good level are the same.
Of course.
If I'm training a young athlete, the main things we're going to work on, no matter what sport it is going to be speed, power, agility, endurance, reaction time, stuff that are sort of like transferable across the board of sport. Which all of these things, they're using different, like, they're tapping into different muscle fibers, they're tapping into different cardio systems and different components to but they all sort of, like, they all come into one. They're all as important as each other, which is why I'm probably a little bit biased being a fitness coach, is why I believe that the physical aspects of sport are a lot more, are probably just as important as the talent.
Of course.
I don't know what you think about that from
a
scout's perspective.
Of course. Well, it's strength and conditioning coaches have only just came in the game really the past, like, kind of 10 years, haven't they? Like realistically, like, where it's kind of important now. And I mean, look at the difference now. The game's gone faster. It has. Athletes are,
definitely.
Like, athletes could be technically gifted, And I've seen scouting, like I've seen kids who are gifted in football, that they've got it, like they're literally born with this, but because someone else, Jimmy's faster than him, he's bigger. It can almost knock him out of the position for a little bit because he hasn't got that peak just yet. But this is what when it comes down to, obviously, when kids, like kids peak at different ages, puberty, blah blah. So obviously when that all comes in, like kids grow at different angles. So but it comes to a point when you get 16, 18, that's when you really basically should be focused on your strength conditioning, because it's such a massive input. But
it's huge.
I
mean, an example would be I don't know if it's still the same, but back when I was playing, academies, with the position I was, academies won't even look if you're under 6 foot. So at the time of like 15, before I was fully grown and stuff, I might have been hitting 5'10", 5'11", but what chance have you got when they actually have a lot of these teams and clubs have height restrictions because it's based on that level's based on physicality.
Well, it is. You've got to be certain. You've got to be gifted if you're under 6 foot, really. You won't see many keepers under 6 foot. It shouldn't. I can see why at the same time. If they're that good, they shouldn't be passed by, especially when you're like 15, because you might grow at 18. You know what I mean? You don't stop growing.
Exactly.
You don't stop growing until you're 21. So
21.
This is what it is. But obviously, the academies at the minute have all the category different teams and Cat 1, Cat 2, Cat 3s. But keepers can be quite misunderstood as well, definitely for height and stuff like that. But
like I say, that sort of height thing is based on physicality. Is that they're assuming that someone that is a little bit smaller is going to be less physically able. So reaching the top corner, coming and collecting crosses. But then that's where someone should be looking at these fitness and coaches that are in these clubs and saying, make that goalkeeper jump higher, make that defender, stronger on the ball. This is what people like me then come into your area of the industry.
And now it's part of the training. It's part of the training philosophy at every club. It's almost just as important now, especially at a young age. I mean, they try all these mobility movements, and they even do gymnastics. It's some academies you'll be surprised, and you can see why though. I mean, if a player can do certain movements in another player, think about it in a position. If this person can use their body more than another player, that's an advantage, isn't it? It's so this only comes down to specific small attributes and abilities that players, that the clubs now and academies are just trying to literally just go to the next level all the time.
So from just leading from that, from a scout's perspective, what would you say are the key ingredients to succeed?
Well, obviously, if you know about football in the coaching, which a lot of people do, the 4-corner model, obviously that's technical, tactical, physical, social, and psychological. Obviously, all these 4 components are important in the game. And when you're looking at players, but obviously every position is different. So some academies actually want certain attributes in different academies. But for me, if I'm looking for a player, them 4 things are important. But some players have more than others. Like I said before, some players are growing, some players are bigger. A lot of times I went to watch Everton Academy. A lot of their players were literally massive compared to just say United, who could be, well, they weren't too small, but the forward players are quite small. Every time we were watching the attackers, so they get muscled off quite a bit of the bigger players, but that's because they grew. But the bigger players might not have that technical ability that the smaller players have, because when players grow, something like their muscles and their joints just aren't coordinated because they haven't fully developed that side of the game yet. Obviously, I'm sure you understand that. But yeah, like I say, I'm always looking for something special with a player, especially if you're attacking. If you've got a bit of ability, a bit of creativity, obviously you can't really buy sometimes. The players who are good at it hasn't. So, but yeah.
So you look for more. You look for a player that sort of balances out across the 4 components a lot of the time.
Of course, yeah, of course. But the most important thing is about the player learning in decision making as well. I mean, you can watch a player 4 or 5 times, and if their decision making is not up to scratch, it can knock them aside. They could be the fastest person in the world, but if they can't make the right decision in the right place, so their football brain isn't up to the age where.
So like when to pass, when to shoot, when to.
It's almost important. It's being fast. Do you know what I mean? So we're looking for all these most important things, but at the same time, like on about the negative things as well. I've seen really good players that I thought, right, they'll fit in the academy. I think, like, definitely passing them on, but like before the game, I've seen them have a bad attitude, or something's gone wrong in the game, and they haven't responded the right way. That's almost just as important as having the ability, because if you literally give a ball away, or you do something bad in the game, or something hasn't gone your way, and you're that bad and your head's gone, do you really think academies are going to want them sort of players? Not really, no.
No,
So
definitely.
you've got to be headstrong, almost as important as your feet.
So what have you got an example of, if you've seen someone have a problem before a game, or how can you pick up that they've got a bad attitude?
Just another there's one experience I was watching. This one kid who's he was on our books. He was supposed to be going into, at the time, Crewe Alexandra, and they're a half decent academy, good setup, very good setup. And so I've got to watch his game, and before the warm up, he was just messing around. So obviously I've got there before the game, because what I do is I watch the warm up as well. It's quite important to see how they behave with the players, how much the attitude is, do they respect the coach.
Right.
And this lad was just messing around the whole game, in the warm up, and I was like, is this serious? Like, is this guy like? And then on the pitch, he wasn't bad, but before the game, the manager tried to tell him off, tried to give him a word. He wasn't listening. So for me, when I seen that, that's going down my notepad. It's like it's not good, because that's a social side. The social's not great. He's psychological. Why is he doing that for? But and it affected him in the end. I think he did it a few times after that as well. And I think it affected him getting scouted.
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.
So what? Obviously, you've mentioned the sort of bad, like a bad example there. What are there any good examples of like how you can show how people can show a good attitude for scouts?
There's all sorts of you show good attitude to scouts. Like there's also positives, working back for your team, obviously respecting the coach and the side. But I've seen great players who come through the system, especially Crewe, who just have it all, and but it doesn't come easy, like it's all about the head as well. Like you say, when things go wrong, how do they react? If they react good and they just keep playing their game, obviously we're gonna notice that on the side of the pitch. We're watching every detail that you're doing. So just because you score a goal doesn't mean that you're going to be that you've done your job. It's about literally working back for your team. Are you aware of what you're doing? Are you aware of where the ball is? Are you checking your shoulder every time? It's small indicators. You know what I mean? So, but obviously this is why it's important for grassroots coaches and obviously even academy coaches obviously to make these things aware. So you could also go to a higher category team as well. So it's always important to impress. You never know who's watching.
So when you say categories, what is that, like within, say, Man United Academy? Yeah, there'd be a category. So for the same age group, there would be category 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 teams in one age group.
It's based on like many things. It's based on like facilities. It's based on the coaching standards.
Oh, so is this like different categories of actual teams? So like Man United against York City.
You won't really see that. I mean, the top ones obviously Newcastle's in category 1, Man U, Man City, Everton, Liverpool, all the Prem teams pretty much. You have obviously Swans. Swansea are in there because they're a big Welsh team. I think they have a few teams, but you very rarely find championship sides in category 1. But I mean, some academies do play each other. Like Crewe still played category 1 teams, but obviously all the big teams tend to play each other because obviously they're in the same sort of boat. So
league and
league exactly almost. But I mean, leagues.
See, I thought you meant in one club. There was different categories, but it's actually the clubs are categorized.
Well, I believe that most academies don't actually play in a league until like the 16. So it's basically just about player development. And a lot of academies, I've spoken to a lot of coaches in academies, and most of it's something about results. I mean, obviously the big teams, it is City, United, all love big results, but a lot of the other teams love just player development. If one of their players gets into the first team, they're buzzing.
That's what it's about, isn't it?
They've done the job. Do you know what I mean? So that's why they care more about the players than the natural result, though. So, I
think that's good. Like that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So what? So obviously you've scouted for category 3 to category 1. What would you say are the major differences in standard, and why?
The major difference in standards, I think personally, for one, the hours of training. So your category one teams, they're usually working like 10,000 hours per year, like training the players. And your lower category teams, they're pretty much getting coached 5 hours. So if you work that out over 5 years, the better teams.
5,000 hours.
Yeah, 5,000 hours, 5,000.
Yeah,
so
it's
category
like
110,
double
three is like 5. So realistically, over 5 years, if you're in that academy for 5 years, someone's getting pretty much 25 hours more than you training, and the quality of training. So realistically, if you're in a better academy, you're going to be in a better team. You're going to get better coaching. But you'll be surprised. Some players, the likes of Crew, Portfield, they'll go to City. But if you're a special player, well, this is where it comes in, like SAQs. Like a lot now, one-on-one sessions are around now in group sessions with like elite, even like not elite, but you can have like attacking coaches who work with you. And right now, there's people around me doing one-on-ones, and they're kicking off, and like they always have been, but they've only really kicked off like really out to the past couple of 3 or 4 years, like where it's the kids now, like the mum and dads are putting in these programs because they know it's important. They know it's important. Not honestly going to training and just playing with your mates on the side is not going to benefit anymore. You need to look, even do research online. You haven't got to get one-on-one coaching. Have a look with your mate online. Have a look at these one-on-one sessions and just learn and literally put your craft in. Because at the end of the day, if you want to make it even a job or even do it for like a hobby or whatever, the more graft you put in your craft, you're going to literally.
As well, like within that age, I'd say some of my biggest, because I do all sorts of I train all kinds of clients, ranging from, probably like 15 to 67 is my oldest one. And I'd say the age range in which I've getting the better results in terms of building muscle is 16 to 21. Any client I've had 16 to 21, most of them
building muscle from age.
Yeah. So most of them do come in. It's very rare I get a 16 to 21-year-old come in and want to lose weight. They normally want to bulk up at that age, and it normally is for a sport. And I'd say that in terms of getting the quickest change, the most rapid muscle building change, it's probably been the younger clients I've got. So it's not only important to start then. It's actually a really advantageous age to start, because your body's still you've got all the good elements to build a muscle still. When you get to about 25, 30, your growth hormone levels start to drop, and even a lot of the times testosterone levels can drop. But at that age, for males especially, growth hormone and testosterone are so high. So I would say that any 16 to 21-year-old athlete or person, anyone, is start now. And the difference in 3 months' time, it'll be, you'll wonder why you hadn't started before.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I think that was one of the mistakes I did when I was younger. I used to love running. I used to think cardio and endurance was so important when I was 16. Probably one of my mistakes, to be fair, was not training hard enough and putting the dedication at that time, to be the best person, the best player I could have potentially been. But I think back then, though, I don't know, some kids just aren't focused enough for it, and they're at the age where they just, it's hard to literally put something in so much in something where you're dedicated.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say now fitness is a lot more. There's a lot more people involved in fitness now than there was even back when I started my fitness journey.
Yeah.
But it's, everyone's spoon-fed these days. That's the thing. Like, a 16 to 21-year-old that's never trained before is going to listen to Joe blogs on Instagram and believe that this wonder squat is going to get him, a six-pack in 2 weeks.
Very true,
all of that.
true,
we're so spoon-fed. Is that these kids that are starting off training, they're looking for an easy fix. Now, that's one thing I never thought in any times in my journey, is that it's going to be easy. Because at the end of the day, if it was easy, then they would already be there. They would already be at the level they want to be. But because this day and age is so spoon-fed, it's like you see a lot of kids, they'll start and then, a year, 2 years
stop.
down the line, they still look the same because they've been just, trying a quick fix and then stopping for a bit, trying a quick fix, stopping for a bit, or they'll just stop altogether. So another thing I'd say to anyone starting off is that it's not easy. Don't expect it to be easy. Take the hard route. That's how it works. If you put yourself under stress, you will change. So don't just think, don't just think, well, I'm going to do a bench press, but I'll just do it on the Smith's machine because that's supported, and it's a little bit easier. Like go for the Olympic bar, do the free weights, do the harder
it's
stuff.
Better for you. It's trained them smaller muscles, obviously. Yeah, of course, man, of course.
Well, but, not only that, it puts your body under more stress. So the only way your body's going to adapt is if you're under stress.
Yeah.
So I'd say my mistakes were probably listening to the wrong people. In that, like when I started weight training and stuff, I would, I wouldn't necessarily take what people said for Bible, but I would definitely sort of like say look up to the wrong sort of physiques or whatever for my age. In that, like the best results I've got is when I look up to myself and the work I'm putting in rather than thinking, because all it does is gives you a negative outlook. Like,
well, of course, mate, but it's also getting good habits as well. Like I think for me, when I've been training probably not for like 2-3 years, but I've actually I actually enjoy going to the gym. It's almost like I don't think about it now. Well, obviously before the corona,
a release.
But I think it's getting good habits. It's like anything. It's something you do, and it almost becomes a second nature. Do you know what I mean? And that's also getting good habit of going to the gym and putting the work in.
Yeah, like I say, I think people need to these days is look for the harder way of doing things, especially at that age, mate. Like you want to have done it the hard way. Imagine coming from, like for example, a footballer that's came from the worst background possible will appreciate it more than someone whose football's been passed down the line of their family.
Very true, mate.
And they'll be better for it. Like they've came through adversity to now play at the top level. Whereas like so a lot of the time you're better off by taking the hard route rather than looking for the easy route. Which is my advice to sort of 16 to 21-year-olds as a fitness coach.
Definitely. But in terms of outfield players, what do you think are the key for you as a fitness person, a fitness owner? What do you think the key areas are for outfield players?
I'd say the key areas in terms of physicality for an outfield footballer would be speed.
Yeah.
If you look at the speed of the game from the top level even through to semi-pro, there's speed is crucial no matter what outfield position you are.
Aye.
But then you're looking at power. Obviously, there's different types of power that you're going to need.
Yeah.
You're going to need strike power. You're going to need physical power so when you're hitting the ball, obviously you're going to need an element of power, but you're going to need physical power whereby you're holding off defenders or doing the holding off, and whatever else. But you're also going to need jump power. You're going to need, just that sort of quickness off the mark style of power.
No, 100%. Yeah.
So power is probably the main one, I would say. And then obviously endurance, which is a total different aspect of fitness altogether. Is that if you can't run around for 90 minutes, you're not going to get anywhere. So I'd say probably speed, power, and endurance is probably the most important physical attributes.
Yeah, for sure, mate, especially for outfield players.
Yeah, but also don't neglect the mental aspects. Fitness. One component of fitness is actually coordination. So as you train and as your muscles grow or whatever, you're improving your mind to muscle connection, which improves your coordination overall. Now that is an area of fitness, and people neglect that. You know, is that like they'll think that they're just, you know, if they're doing a weighted session or whatever, that it's just going to make them look better or whatever. But actually, no, what you're doing is you're developing a better relationship from brain to muscle. Now that is another important aspect of fitness for
so what it's basically about like changing up your fitness routine as well, because like you say, muscle memory, and like if you try different muscle, same, you're attacking the same muscle groups but doing different exercises, obviously that's going to counteract the muscle, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I think in terms of that one, if you change it up too much, then you're neglecting that repetition. So where you're going to get that mind to muscle connection is through repetition after repetition after, you know, yes, you're going to keep trying to progress your training, so progressive overload, but that repetition is what's going to allow your brain to tell that muscle to move sharper than what it did before.
Yeah.
You know, so reaction time and coordination is a massive element of fitness that gets neglected in young players.
But
in terms of training, what I would tell young footballers to do is don't just do the miles, don't just run. It's one mistake I made when I was, you know, younger.
Same, just endurance. You think endurance running is going to, because mate, football's not an endurance base. It's an interval training sport. Do you know what I mean?
It's intervals. So you need to do all of them elements that you're doing in your intervals. So go for walks. That's still part of the game. It's also still really good for cardiovascular fitness and endurance. Running. Yes, do running every now and again. You know, go on a long distance run, but be cautious with that because it can cause a lot of injuries. It can add stress. It can release your stress hormone, which is vital to stay low for young players. When they've got a load of pressure on them, they need to be stress free. But then go out and sprint, jump, plyometric training. The best way to increase power and speed, plyometric training. Jump on things. Mix it up, flip things, slam things. But then also do your sport specific work.
It's just a combination of everything, isn't it? It's a combination.
Just mix it up.
Things. Definitely
mix it up. But I would say probably the main component of the main training technique that I would apply to any youth team player is plyometrics, jump. Powerful jumping movements.
Definitely. Well, that kind of met into my last question. It was like, what elements would you give advice to players? But I think that pretty much just kind of smashed that one out the park. So
that was two in one there. Like
two in one.
Two for the price of one there.
But normally I've seen all these caddies myself do all these sort of things that like it's quite evident now. If you go on any site, Twitter's good for that. Keep on deck. They'll show you all these movements that these clubs are doing. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah,
but it's 2020. It's these movements now are norm. So it's just kind of
exactly.
They kind of compete each other to get all this stuff done. But it's mad.
In the time we're in at the minute, I don't think anyone's going to look at you funny if you start going doing tuck jumps in a park.
No.
Because people are doing a lot worse things to entertain themselves these days. So for a Sunday League player, how could a Sunday League player give themselves the best chance to get seen by an academy or higher level scout?
So looking from Sunday League's point of view, I mean, the best possible chance you can get is if you're playing in a low division. The chances are you're not going to get watched very often by academy scouts. Like when I was going to watch games in the Northwest a couple of years back, I was tending to watch Division 1 teams in local areas because obviously you're in a division for a reason, aren't you? You're not in Division 1 because you're the worst team in the league. So I'm going to watch the best teams because they've got the best players. So If you're playing Division 2, chances are you might get seen once in a year, if you're lucky enough to have that opportunity. But so get yourself in a Division 1 team. It's not the be all end all, because I've seen players go from Division 2 to an academy. It can happen, but you've got to be exceptionally good. But give yourself the consistent chance of being watched. And someone might watch you one game, you've had a blind and the eyes on you, and then you never know. So give yourself the best chance. Go into Division 1 team, get in there. Even a low Division 1 team, you still got a chance of getting watched. So, but I remember when I was young, my uncle Derry he's a scout from Newcastle, and years ago he was like, well, why didn't you try and go for Division 1 team? But at the time I was so content playing where I wasn't in Division 2. I was just want to play my mates. Dedication wasn't too there. But if you want to get the comfort zone, which I wish I did, I should have went and really tried to go a bit higher, and to play in that level at that age. Otherwise, it's some players play just for the fun of it. But if you're looking to the next level, then give yourself the best chance and go for Division 1 and
play for it.
Play the most top level you can.
I suppose that's where both of our coaching backgrounds come into play here, in that you've got to force yourself to adapt by pushing your body outside of its comfort zone. In my game, whereas in your game you've got to push yourself, socially and physically.
But it's both the same
to break them boundaries.
Of course, mate. But it's both the same. It's the same uncomfort, isn't it? You've got to try and just. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Push through adversity. That's what the main sort of thing for success at a younger age is put yourself into situations you don't like and then come through it.
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course. Yeah.
So just to sum up, I don't know if you can name names or anything like that, but what's the best player you've seen and why as a scout?
This lad Kupiego plays. He plays for United. I'm sure I can name it. So it's not too fair. It's not too bothered now. It's Short Tire. So he's playing for under 18s now, I think, and he's 16 now. So he's playing 2 years above him. But when I watched him, he was 14 playing for the 16. So, and he just had it all. He's quite a small player. He's probably one of the smallest players in United's team. He's still small now. He hasn't fully grown, but he's technically one of the best players I've ever saw. I think he scored 4 against Crewe at the time. Perfect hat trick and a header. And I just thought the kids got it. And now he's playing. He's the youngest player to play in the youth league, I think, or for one United. He's only 16 playing for the 18s. But he just had it all, like I'm saying before. And supposedly off the pitch, he's a hard worker. He's a hard trainer. But because he's so small, it just shows if you're technically gifted, you can still reach this level, even though you're not fully grown now. You can't get there. So it's scary to think if he does develop or if he fills out now in a couple of years' time, where you'll be. Do you know what I mean? So that's one of the ones that caught my eye when I was scouting.
Listening, I hope you found some of the stuff that we spoke about today helpful, and keep an eye out for further podcasts along similar sort of topics.
Cheers again, Joe. It's been great today. But again, guys, if you haven't already, give us a like, give us a follow, put our links below for our social media following for you guys, and keep in tune for our guests coming up in the future. Take care.